We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Suzy Prudden, and welcome to the Suzy Prudden Show. My guest today is back for a second time because she's so wonderful.
Thank you.
Her name is Leslie Laxer.
Hello.
And Leslie has a company called Up Beauty. Do any of you have a problem with cellulite? Did I pronounce cellulite correctly?
Cellulite, yes.
Cellulite. And if you do, or know someone who does, you have to pay attention to this show, because Leslie has created a product that actually, seriously, without a doubt, gets rid of it. And I love the story of how you decided to do this and your journey. So can you, I've known Leslie for a long, long time, long before Up Beauty. And this was not even
No.
a whisper.
No.
You had no clue.
No, I did not.
To tell us how this came about.
Okay.
And who you are and why this product. This is outrageous. I use this, by the way.
That little tube is going to change the way your legs look and the way you feel about your legs.
And the most important thing is the way you feel about yourself.
Right. Absolutely.
I love the way you say you were pregnant for 5 years and gave birth to a 9 ounce or
5 ounce. 5 ounce tube.
5 ounce tube.
Yes.
So tell us, how did this come about?
It really, originally it was developed for me. I think for as long as I've known that I've had legs, these little legs of mine have had cellulite, and I've always hated the way they looked. Everybody has an Achilles heel. My thighs were my Achilles heel. And over the years, I've tried so many of the creams and lotions and gels that promised real results, and I wound up with two things. I wound up with a cabinet in my bathroom filled with products that didn't work, and I still had cellulite. And then it's about 6 years now. My husband is a compounding.
I remember when this started, and
Right.
and it was just literally
Right.
an idea, and
Right.
and you came back from
It was going to be for me.
Okay.
Well, I had no interest in marketing this. I asked my husband for a present for me, and my husband is a compounding pharmacist, and about 5-6 years ago he needed continuing education hours to renew his license, and he found a seminar in Houston, and he said, Les, will you go with me? And I said, well, of course, because all I heard was time to spend with friends and good food to eat and shopping at the Galleria. Here I come. When we got there, he took a look at the list of classes, and he said, I really like the notebooks from some of these other breakout sessions. Let's divide and conquer. Go with me. And all I heard was no time to spend with friends, no way was going to eat good food, and no way was I getting to that Galleria to shop. However, as a good wife, I did it, and I went with him. And the first 2 days were really over my pay grade. It was really geared for compounding pharmacists. But the last day was all about over-the-counter products. And it was there that we began to learn about the new effective ingredients coupled with delivery systems that makes results really possible now.
So explain delivery systems.
Delivery system is the engine that drives the ingredients through the 2 layers of skin, directly targeting the fat and the cellulite. So in other words, if you have product and you cannot drive it through the skin, all you have is product. This works like a lock and a key. If you think about a lock as being an independent entity and a key being an independent entity, they're just independent entities. Put together, they have a purpose. So once we have these really effective ingredients that address the problems of cellulite, coupled with a delivery system that drive it through the 2 layers of skin, it works like a lock and a key. You now have form and function and purpose. And it works in a reasonable amount of time. this, like I said, it was developed for me, and I had no interest in marketing this.
Well, you never had a business before.
Never. I've worked in pharmacy for almost 40 years, but it was our family business, and that's just where my background was. But nevertheless, I've had cellulite for more than 40 years. More than 40 years, and after this seminar, he said to me, "What do you think?" I said, "I think I want you to figure out how to make a cellulite cream." So we started, and we realized early on that we probably couldn't do it ourselves. Not only do we not have access to the incredible ingredients that are out there in small quantities to do test batch, and we did not have the machinery necessary to make a really beautiful, elegant preparation. So then I started talking to other formulators to see if this was even possible. And I'd say half a dozen of them said to me, "Sure, I got a formula." I said, "Well, does it work?" They go, "I don't know." So I had no interest in putting out another Me Too product. And
well, what you said to me one time is that most beauty product companies have a cellulite cream,
right?
But they don't market it because it doesn't work.
That's correct.
So you bought all these creams that you saw like in the store that weren't marketed with the it works kind of background.
Right.
And then
I bought them anyway.
You figured you might be the one person that they'd work on.
I bought them anyway.
Right. But yours works.
Right.
And you tested and tested and tested.
We did 3 separate consumer perception studies, and then I followed it up with a real clinical trial. I wanted to put some facts and some substance behind my claims. And we do. We tested on African American, we tested it on Caucasian, we tested on Hispanic, and on Asian skin. Nobody dropped out of the study. Everybody saw results. There were no allergic reactions noted. So it was then I realized I had a product. I had a real cream, a real formula that worked. Most of our users see real, visible results between day 14 and 21. So it's applied twice daily, and you don't even think about it for 2 or 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden you look at your legs and there is an appreciable difference. When we were testing the formulas, when my formulators would send me different versions of it, I only used my left leg to test. And I wanted to make sure that you could see some real difference between one leg and the other. And about 4.5 years into it,
4.5 months.
4.5 years of research and development. 4.5 years into this.
Okay.
My formulator sent me a sample, and I started using it. And about 3 weeks later, I'm walking away from my husband one night, and he said to me, "You know, your left leg looks appreciably different than your right leg." I knew I had a formula. So I called my formulator.
Wow.
Send a vat. I want to bathe. I want to bathe in it.
It's like a Japanese tub.
I just wanted to immerse myself in it. And he did. And then I started using it on my right leg. And within a very short amount of time, we saw a real difference in the way my right leg looked. I knew I had a formula. I knew that what we had was not another Me Too product. When we gave the formulators my wish list of things that I wanted for myself, it had to smooth the appearance of cellulite, it had to keep the area well moisturized, it had to help tighten, and here was the kicker: with continued use, it had to help prevent the future buildup of cellulite. Win, 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 win. And you had to do it without doing anything. When we tested this, we didn't ask any of the users to diet, to exercise, to increase their water intake, because that's me. This product was developed for me.
Right.
And I wanted to know that it worked in and of itself by itself. Certainly now we're using it with nutritionists and with endomologists and dermatologists who are undergoing body slimming processes. And it's a wonderful take-home therapy in between.
So somebody, let's say, who loses a tremendous amount of weight and has a lot of extra skin, does this help them?
It helps to a certain degree. It's not like having plastic surgery.
Okay.
But if you're like me and have that extra 20, 25 to lose, you will certainly see a tightening in your skin. As your skin begins to shrink down, you will certainly begin to see a tightening. Mm-hmm. I'm so proud of this.
And so you had a few setbacks. What was that like?
Well, the first few times that we had a hiccup in this whole development process, I thought, oh, maybe this is not the right time. Maybe this is not the right product. Maybe we really can't do these things. But my husband, he's a pretty positive guy. He said, no, he said, let's keep trying. I think that if we tweak this and we tweak that, maybe we can get it together. So he would call on my behalf, my formulators, and say, hey, I've been reading up on this. What do you think about that? And they would send me another formula, and then I didn't like the consistency, or I didn't like the color, or I didn't like the scent. There was one thing after the next that I didn't like, because again, this was for me. We really weren't going to market it. This was for me. This was a gift to me. Love you madly. Love me.
Right.
So I wanted it perfect. So, and we just kept going until it was perfect. And I must tell you, if we had not developed a perfect formula, I would have abandoned the product. I totally would not have put out another Me Too product. Never.
Well, yeah. What would be the purpose?
Nothing. I don't want to sit in somebody's bathroom cabinet and have dust fall all over me and say, this didn't work either.
Right.
That was not my goal.
Oh,
my goal was to put out an effective product in a reasonable amount of time that most people saw real visible results on.
Where is your product being sold?
We are in gyms. We are as far away as Melbourne, Australia. We are in dermatologist's office in Southern California. We are in endomologist's offices. We're in some pharmacy.
What is an endomologist?
An endomologist is an esthetician that works on cellulite.
Okay.
She gives you these cellulite treatments, and she's...
What is a cellulite treatment with an
endomologist?
That's the word.
I haven't had one, but I've watched it. They wrap your body in like a big body stocking, and then they have it looks like almost a vacuum cleaner that goes over your thighs, and what it does, it's supposed to suck out the water and stimulate the circulation so that your fat begins to break up. And I must tell you, it is a very effective process. Very effective. Now, coupled with a take-home therapy,
it's mind-blowing.
Right now, right. But patients are seeing, not only are they seeing results faster, they're seeing results last longer. So
that's so exciting.
It is so exciting because, like I said, it was developed for me, and I love it.
How is it to be a businesswoman?
Different.
Yeah, on the way over here, my car died this morning, so I worked at home today, and Leslie lives, well, not close to me, but
not too far.
But not too far, and sort of on the way, slightly out of the way to the studio. So I asked her if she could pick me up, and we're going to go out for dinner tonight, so it was perfect. So then we can go out for dinner, and then she can drop me off. And now I lost what I was going to say.
How is it being a businesswoman?
Oh yeah. So on the way over here, we were talking about it because business is a funny animal.
Business is a funny animal.
It's a very funny animal. Some weeks it's yay, and some weeks it's ooh.
Yeah.
And when you haven't done it, and basically you were not a businesswoman before you decided to do this.
No. I worked in my husband's pharmacy, and then we spun it off, and my son now has a pharmacy, the compounding pharmacy as well. And I work behind the scenes. I was the person that, we were just recently talking about, what's your title? My title was doing anything the paid help wouldn't do. If the bathrooms were dirty, I washed the bathrooms. If the counters were dirty, I cleaned the counters. In addition to taking care of patients.
Right.
And, I sort of learned to be sympathetic and empathetic. And I began to realize how important skin issues are to everyone.
Yeah. Well, it's the biggest organ in the body.
That's right. And the first thing that anybody sees is your skin.
Yes.
And for me, summertime came along. I was always the one with a long skirt, long flowing skirt. I never wanted to wear shorts. Bathing suits were like, that was not my thing at all. But even now at my age, I don't wear the shorts. But you know what? Underneath these pants are a great looking pair of legs.
I'm so glad. So now that you are a businesswoman, how has that changed your life?
Well, it's certainly changed my priorities. I don't get to pick and choose my time as much as I used to. Susie, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother.
And you have specific times, I know, because if I want to go have dinner with you, it has to be a Monday or a Thursday.
Right.
Am I correct?
Right.
And Thursday, I'm usually busy, so it has to be a Monday.
Right.
It used to be I kept my Mondays for seeing friends.
Right.
And which was a good thing
Right.
because then I could see you.
Right. But at this point, I really have to carefully juggle my time because the hours that I'm able to devote to the business are now way more than I thought they were going to be.
Yes.
I've had to shuffle other priorities to the background. I've had to let certain activities go by the wayside. I've had to let certain friendships kind of take a sideline to what I'm doing because at this point I'm totally invested in this business and I really want to make a go of it. So and I've changed these priorities very happily.
Yeah, I understand because I live my life that way, and I have for a long time, and when I didn't, my business suffered.
Right.
And so I learned the way a lot of people learn things, the hard way.
Right.
But I thank God I learned it. And I saw a friend of mine that I haven't seen in a few months at a conference that I was just at recently, and she said to me, "Why haven't you called?" And I said, well, actually, I've been busy. And my sister, who was sitting next to me, said, I said, you actually have to make an appointment to talk to me or be on my radio show.
Right.
And she looked at me like, who do you think you are? You have to make an appointment to talk to me. And my sister, who was sitting next to me at the event, I know it's one of those, sitting next to me, we were having lunch at this event, said, even I have to make an appointment with Suzy. If I call Suzy during the week, I'll talk to Maria or Carol or Donna, who's ever at the desk, and say, when does Suzy have 20 minutes or 10 minutes so that we can have a conversation?
Right.
And they'll put it in my schedule.
Oh.
Call with your sister at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so then I know that that's when I'm going to be talking to my sister, because if she calls me, which she's done in the past, not anymore, and I'm in the middle of something, I will automatically pick up the phone because if nobody else is there, that's an automatic response. Mm-hmm. I was trained to do that because there may be money on the other end.
Of course. Of course.
And it's my sister, and I say, okay, I want to talk to you. I can't talk to you now. And she's totally understanding. I can't talk to you now. And I look at my schedule. I have time at 5:30. And so then I'll put it in my schedule. It's maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 11 o'clock in the morning. And I'll put it in my schedule, talk with Joan at 5:30.
Right.
And she gets it. But the telephone is an interesting thing for me. When I talk to somebody, I want to be present. And if I've got other things going on, I can't be present. Right. And so that's why I have, and the woman was very funny. She was like, sort of like miffed. And I said, no, it's like, if I'm going to talk to you, I want to be able to talk to you.
Right.
And not be distracted.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Well, I find that the hours that, it's not really, at this point, it's not a sacrifice. The hours that I am working, I love it. I love going into my office. I love sitting at my desk. I love using my computer. Like you said, some weeks we're not nearly as busy as other weeks. But those are the weeks that I use to make more phone calls to see what else is going on. How can I drum up business? Who can I talk to? Where can I speak to the next group? People say no, thank you, more times than they say yes, please. But you know what? I'm on that phone. I'm on that computer. There are people that want to hear it. There are people that want to know about this product. There are doctors to be spoken to. So
there's a lot of people that want to know about your product.
There's a lot of people.
I mean, your product is golden.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It really is.
One of the obstacles that I'm finding now is, will that client, that customer, take a leap of faith? Will they try another cream one more time?
I think the answer was yes.
The answer is yes.
I think the answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
Because I know I've done it.
Right.
I don't choose another product anymore because I found yours.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
But I would choose a product and then I would see no difference, and then I would go, okay, next.
Right. Yeah, a lot of this is word of mouth. When you start a business from inception, and you really have to figure out the best, most effective way to get the word out there, the most cost-effective way to get the word out there. Actually, you've been quite instrumental in helping me get the word out there.
Well, I talk about it.
Thank you. I know you do.
Yeah.
And some of the people and that you've introduced me to have been so beneficial to the business.
Good.
So
I hope to introduce you to more.
Thank you.
And
Thank
if
you.
you're interested, where can people... There's two things that I want people to get from today. How to contact, if they were interested, for example, in getting the product, that's one. And also in representing the product. This is not a multi-level marketing product. This is if somebody wanted to be a salesperson, it's a whole different animal.
Online. www.upbeautyonline.com. You can buy it online. You can buy it on my Facebook, facebook.com, upbeautyonline. You can get in touch with me that way. I welcome any and all inquiries, certainly online sales. So
now, do you want to have more salespeople?
Absolutely.
And what does it entail to be a salesperson for the product?
Well, it entails a lot of education from me first, because in order to sell the product, you have to understand the product. You have to understand why it works, the science behind it. You have to understand that when you begin to apply it, not only does it feel good on,
Feels warm.
If you get the warming sensation, and that helps stimulate microcirculation, but it also lets the user know that it's being absorbed through the 2 layers of skin, directly targeting the fat and the cellulite. So when you're selling Firm Me Up Anti-Cellulite Cream, you're selling a process. It takes between 14 and 21 days to see results. You're selling a process. It's just like growing your hair out, or going on a diet, or doing anything else that takes a little bit of time. And people have to understand how to sell the process.
Do you have a helpline if someone gets frustrated? Can they call? Is there some way? Can they write you?
Absolutely. You can. All this information is online on my website. You can always get in touch with me, and the phone number is online, so it's relatively easy.
Can you talk to people?
Of course I talk to people.
I'm playing with you.
Of course I talk to people.
Yeah.
I talk to you.
Talk to me. And so there was a time when you got a whole bunch of the wrong tubing. What happened then?
This was just prior to launch. And
things that I remember.
Right. And before launching, the FDA says you have to do microbiology testing. And of course, we had all the testing all set up, and the large tubes, my 5-ounce tubes, perfect. My sample size, my 1.5-ounce tube, they found contamination.
Ooh.
So we had to scrap 4,000 units of that, which is a lot of product for a startup like me.
It's a lot of product.
A lot of product. We had to scrap the whole thing. We had to figure out where the contamination was. I had to order brand new tubes.
How do you figure out where the contamination is?
There are places where you can send independent pieces. You send your tubing. You send a sample of the cream, not unfilled, not in a tube, and they can figure out along the line where the contamination occurred. It didn't occur on the big line, because my 5-ounce tubes were fine, but somewhere along the line there was a contamination
in the little tubes.
In the little tubes.
Did they find out where it was?
It was in the tubes themselves.
Oh, was it the tubes themselves? So then you had to
scrap everything.
So what was it? The same company? It had to be the same company that made the little tubes that made the big tubes.
Yes. Do we know why? No. Does it happen? Occasionally. It's unfortunate that it happened to me, but because people want to sample this.
Yeah.
And it gets expensive to give a 5-ounce tube.
Oh yeah, that would, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Would be.
So it took 4 months to reorder, and then not only did I have to reorder the tubes, I had to reorder the cream as well.
Yeah, because you can't use the cream that was in the tubes because it was contaminated.
Exactly. So, talk about not a good day. not a good day, but it's part of the cost of doing business. you have to act like a big girl when these things happen, and hiccups come across your way, and you have to handle it like an adult. And the best thing to do is scrap it as soon as possible, reorder everything, and get on with the business.
Don't try and make it work if it doesn't work.
Get on with the business of sampling Firm Me Up Anti-Cellulite cream. So it was worth waiting for. People are really excited, and it's not it's not just those little foil samples. It's a tube. It's a 1.5 ounce tube. So
now, how long does that last?
Probably a couple of weeks. So enough so you'll probably begin to see results, and you'll certainly get to understand and feel the whole process of what's going on. The warming sensation, how it makes your legs feel so good, and you can actually feel the cream penetrating through the layers of skin, getting that fat and cellulite.
So when with another product that doesn't have that delivery system, what happens with that product when you put it on? Well,
I really can't speak to the other products, but I can tell you that absent a delivery system, it just lays on the skin. I mean, it just makes sense. If you can't get it through the skin.
But why does it then feel like it's absorbing or
It'll absorb, but it won't penetrate, and it won't get through to the
What is
fat
that
and
layer
cellulite.
called? That layer of skin?
The dermis.
The dermis.
The dermis.
That's the heavy duty protective.
Yes.
Don't come near me because you're not allowed into my body.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But you found the key.
Yeah, we did. My husband, like I said, my husband's a compounding pharmacist, and they use this particular delivery system, a form of it, in all of their compounded prescriptions.
The medications, the things that they're using now.
Yes, correct.
You were very lucky that your husband had been in business.
Right.
Because he had been through, in his own way, all the stuff that you were and still are going through.
Right.
So when you come home with your hair standing out and you're
yes,
then he can simply say, I understand, honey.
Yeah. Or I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to be that I told you so person, but I told you so.
I was going to say, I told you so. Has there ever been a moment when he has been that I told you so person?
No.
Isn't that
He's
wonderful?
Been totally supportive of this whole venture. He's totally on top of it. Because of his medical background, he's the perfect spokesperson for it. And like I said, we are incredibly proud of what we've been able to do as two little people.
So what did your son say to you? I already know the answer to this. What did your son say to you when you asked him if he would do it for you, if he would make this for you?
No. He said, Mom, I'm too busy. He said, I've got a business of my own. I've got a wife. I've got two kids at the time. He said, Mom, figure it out. He said, I met a guy not too long ago who was selling 1 million units of toe fungus a day or a year. He said, Mom, cellulite cream is way better than that. Figure it out. And I'd never been in business for myself. When I spoke to my husband about this, I said, what do you think? And he said, not much. He said, but if you want to try it, I'm all about it. I'm behind you 100%. If this is what you want to do, let's go for it. And slowly, I got to the right people, and not without a hiccup, not without having to one giant step forward, two giant steps backwards, one laterals.
Right.
But I did. I'm now. We're launched 1.5 years, and we're as far.
You're doing well.
Well, for a small little company, I'm thrilled to be where I am. We sell as far away as Melbourne, Australia. We're in Beverly Hills. We're in the Valley. We're beginning to pick up some traction.
So we're going to take a break, and then come back, and I want to hear more of your war stories. Business is business. So
business is business.
I'm Suzy Prudden. This is the Suzy Prudden Show. My guest is Leslie Laxer of Up Beauty, the cellulite cream, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. And join us in a minute or two.
Oh, yeah. Still don't know what I was waiting for. And my time was running wild, a million dead-end streets, and every time I thought I got it made, it seemed the taste was not so sweet. So I turned myself to face me, but I've never caught a glimpse how the others must see the faker. I'm much too fast to take that test. Changes. Turn and face the strain. Changes. Don't wanna be a richer man. Changes. Turn and face the strain. Changes. It's gonna have to be a different man. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. Yeah. I watch the ripples change the size, but never leave the stream of warm and permanent sand. So the days float through my eyes, but still the days seem the same. And these children that you spit on as they try to change their worlds are immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they're going through. Changes. Turn and face the strain. Changes. Don't tell them to grow up out of it. Changes. Turn and face the strain. Changes. Where's your shame? You've left us up to our next event. Time may change me.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Suzy Prudden, and welcome back to the Suzy Prudden Show, and my guest, Leslie Laxer of Up Beauty. And during the break, we were having a very interesting conversation. Then Eric was asking about the product for him, and what did you say?
I said it's better suited for women, and it's because of the way that the structure of men's skin and women's skin are built.
So men and women
Are different.
Are different.
Are different.
We really are different.
We really are different. A woman's skin is built like a grid. So in other words, if you went to it almost looks like a tic-tac-toe square.
Well, it looks like graph paper.
Exactly. And you can because the openings the squares are large, you can see the fat and the cellulite pop through, and that's what gives you the bumpy appearance of cellulite.
Interesting.
Men's
Is
skin,
that why men don't have cellulite?
it's because their skin is built on a crisscross, and the fibers are tighter together, so they don't have that area for the most part for the fat and the cellulite to pop through.
So when men make fun of women with cellulite,
They're just nasty. mean,
mean
nasty,
and nasty. I know.
nasty people.
That's so true. That is so true.
Unthoughtful, unfeeling.
That's true, though. I mean, okay, for those of you at home or at the office or wherever in your car where you're listening, you're watching, never say anything to a woman
Right.
that's negative about
Right.
her body. Well,
Right.
don't be negative, period. It is mean.
It is mean, and we cannot help it. Diet helps a little bit, exercise helps a little bit, increased water intake helps a little bit, but really it has to do with the structure of your skin.
And there's some women who don't have cellulite. That's just the
Right.
structure. Again, that's
Exactly. It's genetics.
It's genetics.
It's genetics, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But most of us don't have those great genes. Most of us have regular genes, and we do have a certain amount of cellulite on our legs, and if that's your issue, Firm Me Up Anti-Cellulite Cream is your solution.
There you go.
There I go.
So, what are some of the other things that tell me something really exciting that happened on this journey in business. And I have to turn to the audience for a second. Business is a truly, truly, truly interesting animal. I mean, there all kinds of things come up that you never ever expect. And it is a challenge, and there are days that, I mean, there's some days when I call my sister and I'll say, just tell me I'm okay. And she's very sweet. She goes, you're okay. I said, repeat it. You're okay. I mean, are you sure? Yes, Suzy, you're okay. Because there's some days I don't feel okay.
Yeah.
in business.
Yeah.
And then sometimes she calls me out of the blue and says, I just wanted to remind you, you're okay.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference because there are days, well, like last Monday, I had a packed day. I was busy, literally phone calls from 10 to 7. And out of those, I don't know how many, 10, 11, 12, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 9 clients.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Or potential clients.
It's a lot.
That's 9 phone calls.
Yep.
But that's hours. And 7 of them canceled. And so I had to think, okay, like you, I could get upset about this because not all of them were already paid. Some of them were about to pay, and that's a lot of money. And I thought, okay, you can do one of two things. You can scream and cry and carry on and bemoan the situation, or use it to do something that you don't have time to do when you have all those
Right.
clients. And that's what I did.
Right. Well, when we, just prior to launch, I'd certainly been trying to market this, so at least I know when I open my door, I'm going to have a sale.
Right.
So I'd say within maybe 6 months prior to launch, I'd been talking to people, and I had people commit to me for sales. Yes, I'm going to take X amount of units, and yes, I'm going to do this, and yes, I'm going to do that. And when we launched, I said, okay, just give me your, I need a purchase order. And then everybody, not everybody, but some of these accounts that I really thought that we'd have a decent exposure drop by the wayside. No, it's not a good time for me. I'm not quite sure. So I was then.
We don't like those.
No, we don't like those. But it's talking about being in business. It is part of business.
It is part of business.
So you have to go back and rethink your whole strategy and figure out, okay, if this road didn't work, maybe I'll try going to the left a little bit and see what happens. That doesn't work, you turn around and maybe go a little bit to the right and see if that happens. And eventually, when you have enough feet on the ground, you get into stores, you get into spas, you get into salons, you get into doctor's offices, you get into Australia. So I'm like that little ant that could. I just keep marching around, and
it's very smart because a lot of people give up. And as a friend of mine wrote a book called 3 Feet from Gold, Greg Reed, and it's about, there are many short stories in this book, but the one story that the book is based on is a man who was a gold digger, not as in a gold digger, but an actual gold digger, and he quit, got all upset, he couldn't find it, he quit, and he sold his mine to somebody else. He thought he was getting a deal, sold pennies on the dollar, and the guy went in there, and 3 feet away was the vein of gold.
Yeah.
And made, gazillion dollars. So it's business is, if you want to make it work, you have to work it.
That's right.
And the days happen, because I've had clients say, yes, they're going to, call me on Tuesday at 10 and I'll have my credit card. And I leave them in a certain color knowing that they may not. I don't put them in the definite. I put them in the maybe. Because it's not definite until it's definite.
Right. I live by words that my father used to tell me. The harder I work, the luckier I get. So, and it is absolutely the truth. The days when I put everything that I have into, which now is every day, I'm making progress. If anything, I'm not standing still. I think standing still is
moving backwards.
Exactly. It's not only that, it's depressing. So I find that even if I'm talking to people that say no to me, I'm still moving in the right direction because I know where not to go.
Well, also, no doesn't mean no. It just means
the first time.
It just means not now.
Right.
I have, my motto is pick up the phone. The money's in the phone. Pick up the phone. Follow up. So last week I got a telephone call from a gentleman who said, well, this is so-and-so from such and such, I can't remember. And I have not gotten my messages for the last couple of months or last month, whatever, because I've been wherever he's been. And I got 13 calls from Carol returning because I requested a call from you. I got 13 calls. I lost it. Absolutely lost it because
I can see why.
13, and I had somebody working for me who I said, have you made all the calls? And she said, yes, I've called everybody twice. And I said, call them again. And she said, I don't want to disturb them. And I said, that's your job description. Because they will tell you
Right.
if they want you to stop. I
Right.
do have people call me and say, thank you. And usually, because they give me the card and
Right.
say, please call me.
Right.
And I don't call people unless I get permission.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I go to a networking meeting and get 25 calls, I don't call 25 people. I call only the people that say they want me to call them. But it's a number.
I'll tell you, Suzy, if I go to a networking meeting and I get everybody's business cards, I send everybody an email. Everybody gets a personalized email. The ones that respond back to me, I will send them my press kit. I will send them samples. I will do anything. I'll come in. I'll do in-service for them, especially in the gymnasiums when I need to talk to trainers.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah. So I follow up this physically as much with this particular product. I follow up physically as much as I can. People seem to want to meet me. People seem to want to hear my story.
Well, you're the star.
Yes, apparently
are.
so, because people seem to be very interested in how it was developed, why it was developed, how long it took me, and I'm more than willing to share the story.
Well, you are a story, and that's why people want to know you. It's like Mary Kay. Mary Kay is a story.
Right.
Jenny Craig is a
Right.
story.
Right.
And they're the stars.
Right.
And you are the star.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Who knew, right?
Well, again, when you say starting a business, what are your surprises? I was completely surprised to know how many people wanted to know the story. And
Yeah.
almost all of the magazine spreads that we've had,
They have to have the
they
story.
want to know my story.
Yeah. Well, your story is...
It's almost the story for print advertising is almost more important than the description of the product.
Oh, it is more important.
Because
it would be more important in interviews
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
Because you are interesting. The story is wonderful. I mean, here you are, quote unquote, a housewife
Right.
for a lot of
Happy.
years.
Happy.
A mom, a grandmom.
Yeah.
You
A wife,
a wife. You
Yeah.
volunteer. You work in
Right.
the back room,
Right.
so to
Right.
speak, there
Right.
at your husband's office.
Right.
Husband,
Right.
And then you get this idea, and now you're a businesswoman.
I turned it into a business. We
Yeah.
made it work. Like I said, it took 5 years. 5 years is a long time.
Actually, it isn't. I mean, it is,
it is.
but it isn't.
yeah.
It takes some people many, many, many more. And you're in business.
Right.
It's not like it took 5 years and you're not in business.
Correct. Well, I had a starting point. My husband's pharmacy. That was my first placement, and the women were crazy about it. I mean, I certainly had been talking about it for years, and when it came out, as soon as I had my new samples, I was able to sample everybody, and it snowballed from there. So
That's great.
it is a good story.
That's a great story.
It is
That's
a good-
that's
Thank
great.
you. It is a good story.
You know, it's like me being the daughter of Bonnie Prudden.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Nepotism works.
Right.
Oh, but you can use, like I used when I first started in fitness, I used the name Prudden because nobody knew about who Mrs. Sussman was, but they did know who Bonnie Prudden was, so they did know
Absolutely.
Suzy Prudden. That got me into a lot of rooms. But then it's up to me to stay there.
Exactly.
So you having the product in your husband's pharmacy, that got you into people's hands.
Exactly.
But if the product didn't work, they wouldn't have.
That's
they
right.
wouldn't have bought it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be true to my own word.
Yes.
I told you the only reason we would not, I would have abandoned this project altogether is if it didn't work.
Yeah. Well, what would be the point? There is no point.
For me, there was no point. I wanted a product that worked. I wanted 21st century solutions to age-old problems. And
That's a great. Did you write that down?
It's on my stationery. It's on my website. But it is true.
It is true.
We wanted the best technology, the most effective products, coupled with the best delivery system, 21st century solutions to age-old problems. Cellulite's been around
Forever.
forever.
Yeah. Do you have any intentions? I already know the answer to this. Do you have any intentions of creating another product?
Yes. Yes.
I didn't know the answer. I didn't think you
Yes.
would. What are you
Yes.
what are you up to now?
It'll be something with a device. It'll be a skin cream. It'll be something with a device.
When you say device, what does that mean in terms of
Devices are very popular now. It's another way of getting
like a
Clarisonic is
Okay.
a device.
Okay.
But there are ways of using ultrasound waves, and we're right now. I'm beginning to talk to an a mechanical engineer, and I'm telling him my ideas. It's like going to a dress store and say, hey, I want this, 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 and this, and then you have to figure out people who can make this work or not. And we're just beginning to talk to mechanical engineers, telling them what we want to do, how we want it to be presented, and whether or not it's possible. So that's where the
exciting.
research and development comes in. Yeah,
That's
It's
exciting.
very exciting. It'll be more exciting if it works, but
Well, it will work
It will.
because what your attitude and your experience is, as you said, if you're going along and you come across something that doesn't work well,
Right.
you make this turn, you make
Right.
that turn,
Right.
or you jump over it, or you go under it, but it doesn't stop you.
not only that, it makes a better product.
Yes,
It makes a better product.
Yes.
Just because I come from a non-scientific background. Just because I have it in my head doesn't mean that it can actually work. I mean, for years, I had an anti-cellulite cream in my head, but without an effective delivery system, it didn't work. But now we have the two.
So they work together.
Exactly. And now it's possible.
I'm excited about your next product. I'm excited because
Thank
I know you're going to do
Thank
it.
you.
And I know you're going to run into difficulties, and I know you're going to have all these.
I'll be back here to tell you about
Yeah, you'll
them.
be exactly. The way I hold that is because I've got challenges that come up in my business all the time. Whenever I have a challenge, it really is. I mean, it sounds cliche, but it is an opportunity.
Absolutely.
And it does make it better.
Absolutely.
And it does expand your creativity.
Right. And not only that, I'm finding that one product spins three. So it's not just this product, it's the
Created a
next
monster.
it's the next two after that. I have a team of people that help work on this. I'm certainly not capable of doing it all by myself, but I have a wonderful group
Well, the
of
good
people.
news is you don't have to.
Right.
None of
Right,
us. I
right.
mean, none of us can do it by ourselves.
Right.
We all need a team.
Right.
Some kind of team.
And I have this wonderful husband who walks side by side with me, holding my hand and saying, I think this is going to work. Maybe not. Let's try something else. Let's go here. Let's go there. So, I mean, he is that person, that shadow that's right beside me.
It's wonderful.
Actually, my son and daughter-in-law are right beside me as well because they're so encouraging. And I like to think that my son is proud of what I've been able to do.
Oh, I know he is.
I hope so.
I'm sure. He said, go figure it out, Mom, and you
Go
did.
Figure it out, Mom. Yeah. I'm sure if he were helping me, it would have been launched 3 years prior to doing
but
it.
you needed to do it.
I will tell you, it has been one of the most rewarding, satisfying things I've ever done.
I remember sitting in a coffee shop having lunch with you. This is 6 years ago. And you say, I have this idea.
Yeah, right.
And
Came with your pad of paper.
Right.
Right.
And we were, and there,
Yeah.
here you
and
got
just
it.
brainstorming. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're going to stop for now because you're going to come back with your new product.
Okay. I would love to.
And I'm Suzy Prudden. My guest is Leslie Laxer. You've been listening to and watching the Suzy Prudden Show on LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk. I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you for being with us.